Hi everyone, welcome to Conceptual Thinkers Talk Primary Maths Concept with Teacher Ben. So please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel Conceptual Thinkers and follow us on Facebook Conceptual Thinkers Mathematics and English Hub for the latest videos and update. Okay, so the question of the day will be P5 Catholic High Weighted Assessment 1 2021. So we will be looking at session C, question 13. So this is the question. So a pen costs $1, a notebook costs $2 more than a pen. Mei Ling paid $98 for some notebooks and pens. She bought twice as many notebooks as pens. So part A, we need to find how many pens did she buy. And for part B, how much more money did she spend on notebooks than pens. Okay, so I'm going to start with our 4I technique. So we need to first interpret the question. So interpret the question by looking at the key phrases that we need to look out for. So we know that for a pen, right, it will cost $1, and for a notebook, it will cost $2 more than a pen. So what we know is for one pen, the value of it will cost $1, and for one notebook, it will cost $2 more than a pen. So we just take $1 plus $2, so we will get $3. And from here, right, we know what about the individual value of the cost of the pen and the notebook. Now they actually told us that many paid $98 for some notebooks and pens. So which means that we don't know the quantity of the notebooks and pens, but we know that the total cost is $98. And we know the quantity by unit. So we know that she bought twice as many notebooks as pen. So this means that the notebook will be 2 units and the pen will be 1 unit. Now this concept, right, that they're trying to test us here is under a concept called numbers times value. So some school may use quantities times value, or some school will call it units times value. So this is units when we talk about numbers. So it must always be in terms of units. So from here, we know that it's twice as many notebooks as pen. And this value here, right, must be our individual value. So which means that we must know the value of one pen and one notebook. And that is what we know from the first two sentences. Okay, so next we're going to start and execute the steps. So usually for conceptual thinkers, we actually teach the student to come up with a table. So the table will look like this. So we have, I use P to represent pen, and I use N to represent notebook. Then we will put in the numbers here. And please remember the numbers here will represent in terms of units. Then I will come up with the value. So the value will be the individual value. Okay, then finally we will come up with our total. Now since this is called number times value, means that when we do our calculation later, we need to do a multiplication here. Okay, so the numbers here, we know that the notebook will be 2 units. We'll write 2U for the notebook. Then after that, we write 1U for the pen. Now the individual value, we know that for the pen costs $1. Now notice that I only put 1, I don't put the units. Okay, that's very important. Later we need to ensure that our steps doesn't involve our units here, so that it can represent numbers also. Okay, so for notebook, it will be $3. So I put a 3 here. So we take 1U times 1, we will get 1 unit. Then if we take 2 units times 3, we'll get 6 units. Okay, now we need to link our units with number. So there's one more number we haven't used yet, which is the 98. Okay, so this means that the total must be $98. So let's understand what this table means. So if we take the number of pens and we multiply the value of one pen, this will give me the total cost of all the pens. So the total cost of all the pens will worth 1 unit. And the total cost of all the notebooks will worth 6 units. So if I take 1U plus 6U, this will give me the total cost that Mei Ling paid for all the notebooks and all the pens. So this must give me 98. Okay, so 7 units will give me 98. So 1 unit will give me 98 divided by 7. So if you press your calculator, you should get 14. Okay, so they ask how many pens, right? So which means that this will be my part A answer that I need to find. So 1 unit, in this case, we know that the number of pens must be 14. Okay, so next, we need to look for how much more money did she spend on the notebooks than pen. So we can straight away find the difference between the total cost of the notebook and the total cost of the pen. So for part B, what I will do is I'll take 6U minus away 1U. That will give me 5U. And 5U will be equal to 14 because the value of 1 unit is 14. I multiply by 5. So this will give me $70. So that will be the answer for the value of the notebook. Okay, so what are the 4 techniques that I use here? So first, I interpret the question, I identify all the key phrases. Then next, based on the key phrases that I identify, I link it with the concept called number times value. So this is how I identify the concept. Next, once I know the concept, then I will execute my methodology, which in this case, we highly recommend to do it using a table. So we do an implementation. Okay, next, we need to inspect our solution. So when we do our inspect, I will actually check on my calculation whether did I do any careless mistake in terms of the calculation. Did I read the question carefully? Okay, so did I do any transfer error? So and see whether I made a mistake when it comes to like bring the number. Like for example, this is 98, right? Did I write 98 correctly, or I wrote like 89? So all these things is what we do to inspect the question. Okay, with this, I hope that next time when you see this kind of question, look for the key phrases. So number times value, remember, the numbers must be given in terms of the units, and all the items or all the subjects here you must able to identify the individual value of it. Okay, so with this, we comes to the end of the presentation for question 13. So don't forget to follow us on our YouTube channel, Conceptual Thinkers, or you can follow us on our Facebook, Conceptual Thinkers, Mathematics and English Hub. Okay, so feel free to share your question. If you have anything that you want to track us, please drop your comment down below. Or if you feel that you have any question that you want us to actually to come up with the solution, please let us know. We'll do our best to produce the video so that you can learn something from it. Okay, that's all for today. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.